is a very important test question. Finding x-intercept for a transformed trigonometric function is always a challenge. Let us see how do we figure it out in a given domain. I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my YouTube channel and the website Global Math Institute. We discuss real problems with real students. The questions shared by them are being answered in my channel in complete details so that they can understand and do excellent in their own exams. So in this series of test preparation, we are taking up some challenging questions based on trigonometry. Some of these questions have been shared by our viewers. We'll find the x-intercept for a sinusoidal function. When I say sinusoidal, it includes both sine and cosine. As cosine, you know, is a transformed sine function, right? So the question here is to determine x-intercepts for y equals to 2 cos pi by 2x minus pi by 8 plus 1 on this particular interval, which is between minus pi to plus pi. It is always a challenge to provide all these solutions within this interval, and the second challenge is to do it within the time frame in our test, right? We cannot afford to waste time in a test. So the whole idea of this series is to attempt the questions efficiently to get the correct answers. Perfect. So how do we solve this question in a test paper? Well, a couple of things to look at. First, you notice that x coefficient is pi by 2. We need to factor this, which is very important to sketch any trigonometric function, rather any function. And in trigonometry, find the actual period for the function. Correct. So let's begin by rewriting this expression, which is now y equals to 2 cos. So we are going to factor pi by 2. So I prefer to use the square brackets when you factor two different kind of brackets. Brackets is a good practice, correct? Yeah, x. Now, here is also a challenge. What do we get here? Well, minus pi by 8 was already there. So basically, you are dividing by pi by 2 or multiplying by 2 by pi. You get the idea. So I'll do it in 2 steps. Perfect. And so this could also be written as, this should be written as, I should say now, pi by 2 is the k value, right? And we get here x minus. Simplify this, pi and pi cancel, and we get 1 over 4, right? Makes sense? So we have a phase shift of 1 by 4 to the right, not pi by 8. 1 by 4 to the right. You get the idea? So pi has been taken out, and out of 8, 2 has been taken out. You are left with 4. Makes sense. If you multiply, you get the same thing. So you need to check this before moving forward in your test paper, right? If you make a mistake here itself, every effort which you're putting in will not give you good marks, right? Definitely going to lose 0.5. Okay. And we are given a domain which is between minus pi to plus pi, correct? And that is for x, not for your theta. This is your different value, right? Remember that also. So that is our equation. Perfect. Let's try to understand what is x-intercept. You know x-intercept is when y equals to 0, right? So x-intercept means what? X-intercept means y equals to 0. So we'll equate y to 0 and then solve the equation. So we get, let's write down 2 cos pi by 2 x minus 1 by 4 plus 1 equals to 0. So I forgot to write plus 1 here. Right, plus 1. Yes. So to solve, I have to take 1 to the other side, divide by 2. So cos of pi by 2 x minus 1 by 4 equals to minus 1, and then we are going to divide by 2 over 2. So cos, we got a negative half value. That means that in normal circumstances, this should have been in quadrant. Let's figure this out. Use the cast rule at this stage. Cos being negative in quadrant, which 2 and 3. So see, generally we'll get these two in one cycle, right? Answers. Okay. Now since the period is kind of different, right? We are still to work out the period for this particular wave. But anyway, we have an idea. So we got, if I change this equation to, let's say, cos theta. So this angle I'm replacing with theta equals to minus half. Then what is theta? This is first thing. And from that theta, we can find the value for x. So minus half, you know, acute angle. You can use your special triangle to get this answer. Many times calculator may not be allowed. Okay, so be careful about that part. So we know if this angle is pi by 3 for us, right? In that case, we have cos as half, right? Make sense? Special triangle. So we know that theta is equal to, now these two angles, correct? These two angles. So this is 2 pi by 3 and 4 pi by 3, right? So these are the two different values of theta which are going to satisfy one cycle requirements, right? So we are finding solution in one cycle first. Perfect? Okay. But truly speaking, we want all the solutions within this interval. So what is the period for us? That we have to figure out. And let's figure out the main question, which is pi by 2, theta is pi by 2, x minus 1 by 4, correct? This should be equal to either 2 pi by 3, we'll get one solution, or it is equal to 4 pi by 3. Make sense? Because this was our theta. So let us find at least two values. They may or may not be within the domain we are looking for, right? May or may not be, it doesn't matter. Let's figure this out first, right? So to find this, we will just solve for both of them. So first, we have to divide this by pi by 2, right? So we can solve, we say x minus 1 by 4. So we are solving two equations simultaneously. You see, it might create some confusion. Okay, but since you are now preparing for final exams, you should be good with all this, right? So we are dividing this by pi by 2. So basically, to be 2 pi by 3, dividing means multiply by 2 by pi. Makes sense, right? So that gives you what? Pi and pi cancel. We get 4 over 3 as one of our answers, right? For x minus 1 over 4, correct? So what is x equals to? X will be equal to 4 over 3 plus 1 by 4, correct? Clear? So 12 is your common denominator. 4 plus 4, 16. 4 times 4 plus 3 means 9. So we get x value as 19 over 12. So that is one of your answer, right? No harm in writing it in decimals. So we are writing 19 divided by 12 in decimals. 1.583. So that is one value of x which we got. Do you understand this, right? And we know when we are saying that x is between plus minus pi. So decimal values are 3.14, right? Clearly this value is the correct answer. So we got at least one solution. Perfect. Now I would like you to do exactly same calculation for 4 pi by 3. Correct? Right. So do it and I'll do it on the next page. So we got one answer, 1.583. So we got one answer, x equals to 1.583. Right? Yeah. Correct. So this is one of our answers. Let's now find the second answer, where we are saying that pi by 2 times x minus 1 over 4 is 4 pi by 3, right? So we are trying to find the second solution in one cycle, right? Okay. So we'll do x minus 1 by 4 equals to 4 pi by 3 times 2 by pi, which is pi cancel. 4 gets multiplied by 2, which is 8. So we get 8 over 3. So x is equal to 8 over 3 plus 1 by 4, which is 12 common denominator, 32 plus 3, which is 35 by 12. So this time 35 by 12 is how much? Decimal value 2.916. Okay, 6 recurring. So we get this. So we get the second value of x as x equals to 2.916. Do you see that? We are looking for x values between 3.14 is the higher limit and minus 3.14 is the lower limit. How do I get other values? That is a big question, right? Perfect. Now, the idea here is to find the period of the function. We could have done this earlier also. So we have to find time period of function. So what is our function? Our function is, we know we are looking at cos of pi by 2 we took common, correct? So I'm just kind of reviewing all this with you. Minus 1 over 4, correct? So the time period is, this is the k value. Do you see that k is pi by 2? So the time period t will be 2 pi by 2, correct? So pi and pi cancels, we get 4. So the period is 4 for us, correct? Since the period is 4, we can subtract and add and subtract 4, right? So we have solutions for x as equal to 1.583, correct? So we could add and subtract 4, but if I add 4, it doesn't make sense, right? So the other could be minus 4, right? So we could do 1.583 minus 4 to get the other solution. Do you see that? So I'll do 1.583 minus 4 equals to what? In decimal, I get minus 2.41. 417, right? And that is within the limit. So I have one more solution here, right? The other value of x was 2.916. So here also I can subtract 4. Adding will take it out of the limit, right? So 2.916 minus 4. Since 4 is the period, right? So 2.916 minus 4 is equal to what? Decimal equivalent 1 point minus 1.084. Correct? Now, if I subtract more, then I won't get the answer, right? Do you see how? By finding one, we get all others because it's a periodic function. So, our solutions are, of course, the first two values which we calculated, and then by subtracting a period, we get the other two values which are also within the domain, right? Makes sense. So 4 answers are here for this, and we can now write down our answers as x equals to 1.58 if you want to 3 significant figures, right? And then we have, well, they're not in order. I just wrote 2.92. And here we have minus 2.42. And we have minus 1.08, right? So this is to 3 significant figures. That is how you get all the solutions within a given domain. Do you get the idea? For a trigonometric equation. I hope the steps are absolutely clear. You can always send an email on the given address to learn directly from me. Most of my students are doing excellent